Hi guys. Last time we talked about the big picture view, kind of like a up down to get a big picture. This today we're going to talk about more concrete, actionable steps to address the four problems that we had said yesterday. Number one, the current assessment is using highly condensed data. Okay. Number two, the assessment is done externally by somebody else. You don't have very little self-assessment. Number three, the assessment is done over discrete time. There's no continuity in assessment. And number four, we don't have very much rich context. It's a big because the assessment is standardized. It's like in the factory, it applies to everybody in the same way. So that's the fourth problem. Fourth problem. Now we talk about the ways to fix that. The key is to have, again, the idea is to use rich data, data driven to make this, to solve those four problems. The first one is at the individual level. We have something called annotated chronicle of personal achievement. So altogether we call it a COPA. Okay, again, annotated chronicle and of personal achievement. So why is it annotated? Annotated is very important. That's why we go from condensed to detailed information. Let me give you an example. There was one high schooler on in her second year. That's I think it's in Washington D.C. area. In second high school year, she already took the ACT and got a perfect score. Yet that same person was rejected by repeatedly by a few, Ivy League colleges and basically all the college that she really wanted to go, she was rejected. Was rejected. So here is the problem. If you just put your achievement of a perfect ACT score on the resume, that's just one bullet point. That's all you can say, right? You can't say anything beyond that because the data is condensed. But if the same person can have a chronicle, has like a diary, and then put her achievement in that diary, and also tell us, and tell herself, of course, but also tell us that what she thinks about the achievement, what lessons she has been achieved, and then what has she done with this achievement. For example, she could, you know, um, using that her perfect score to help other students. That would be a totally different story. So the same story may have a very different interpretations. The point is that we don't want to let others to interpret it the way they want. You want to do the interpretation the way you want. And then that's what we have this ACOPA. That's what our ACOPA is doing. Okay, so that's one thing. The second point is, of course, we are going from external assessment by others, by people who read your resume, by people who read your essays, by people who read your all the letters of recommendations. We don't want to just let them to do it. We want to add a self-assessment. So annotation will do just that because you can basically you have your self-assessment of how you look at it, how you think about it, no matter whatever the achievement it is. So you add the second component of self-assessment and external assessment. The thing is that a lot of external assessors, they actually will be impacted by your self-assessment. So if you say something that you basically lead them to a certain fixed way, the way that you want it, to let them, to make them think the way it is, your achievement. So those are the second thing. The third thing, remember, is that there used to be discrete assessment. Now we're going to continuous. Why? Because the same ACOPA will allow people to take a diary style, almost like a diary style. So you remember the current assessment is basically when you put a resume, when you write an essay, you basically like a memoir. It looks like a memoir. In a memoir, you can't remember that much detail. So instead of you only focus on a few milestone achievement, and that's it. Your GPA, your ACT, and what did you do outside of school? Those kind of things is very very uh, little details. But now, since we are taking the diary, and then that'll be continuous. Will be continuous day by day. If even if you don't do that each day, it doesn't matter. We can like once a week or once a month, anything that you think is worthwhile for you to record it, you can do this. But make it the key is that you make it continuous. There will be no like a fixed time, like a final exam has to be at the end of a school, and the midterm is in the middle of the school, and then term paper is due at the end of the school. So those are no longer, that's the only way to do it. We will add continuous assessment, right? And then finally, remember the last question, last problem is that, the contextual free, no longer that way. We will make it a context rich. We'll make it a context sensitive to let people to record your achievement and to influence the interpretation of their external assessors. So those are the four problems all solved by the same ACOPA thing. Okay, now this is at the individual student level. One concern you may have is that the student, usually a lot of students, they don't have the habit of writing a diary. What do we do with it? Easy, because even though you don't have the habit of writing diary, but the social media is everywhere. Whenever you can have a exchange with your friend, your classmate, your parents, or other peers, other guardians, then anything that can trigger the recording of the achievement that will help. 'Cause sometimes in the future, we will be easy to pull out this information from the social media and into your personal folder of your achievement, a COPA, right? So those are the things. And then this is for the individual level. At the school level, we have something called a digital achievement repository. That's for the whole school. Remember, some university, some college, they would like to see not just you, but also something from your school. So that school need to write something up. Like counselors, they have to write something, introduce the high school, right? And then that part will be part of a DA, which is a digital achievement repository, which is basically aggregate of all the personal ACOPA data. Okay, so those are the things. So each high school, each community college, and a four-year college, they all have like a digital achievement repository that they aggregate, collect all the personal data. The other key point is that this information, this data record, this diary of yours will be personal. Nobody else can access to it. So the reason we want to do that is that there are laws, federal laws, to limiting the privacy of information. So that's why you never see any uh, um, the platforms or application assistants. They can only help you to find out the college information. They can never do the application for you. But with that, with your personal data being your private information, only you have, or you or your parents or a few friends, anybody that you granted permitted, and only those people have access. Then it's your private information, and then you can do whatever you want to do it. And then you could be, for example, in the future, you could click one button, and then that the platform will. Uh, collect all the high point of your life, all the past achievement, and then put them into the first draft of the college application essay. So then it's much easier, and also you can obviously you can combine the school specific, college specific information to make your essay adapted to that specific college. So make it everything simple. You can do that, at a click of a button. That's the thing.